My name is Alexandria Ng, and I'm here with Sparks Magazine at the University of Florida. Today, we're here with David Choi before the Asian Kaleidoscope Month opening ceremony. Big shout out to David and his team for speaking to us before the show.
Well, growing up, I hated music, actually. It's until I was 16 years old, sophomore in high school, and I saw this kid make music in the classroom. He brought in a CD, and it was like his music, and he was like, I made this. So I went home that day, and I wrote my first piano composition, and I just kept creating music ever since. I think when it comes to people's sound, it kind of develops over time, and it always starts off with, I think a lot of new artists, they like to draw inspiration from different artists, and then eventually over time, they take that sound and they turn it into their own, which turns into their own sound. So I guess for me, I was always compared to like Jack Johnson, John Mayer, Jason Mraz, and I'm cool with that. An artist always needs to be compared to someone. So, but I would just say that as far as my sound, it's just acoustic pop singer-songwriter, and there's a lot of different variations of that. The songs that I write are all inspired by life and things that really happen in my life, things that I think about. You'd be surprised how many songs you can write after a breakup. But I would say that culturally speaking, I do get moved by cultural events sometimes, and I do write about it. I don't know if I've ever released anything cultural, but I have written a song recently about global warming. So that was a pretty interesting thing, yeah. I think as far as my heritage, I grew up in Orange County, California. So I think, and my parents are immigrants from Korea, so I do have that Korean culture. But I would say for the most part, I'm probably more on the American side because I just started going to Korea. Now it's been a while now, but back in 2009, and that's when I kind of discovered my roots and had a appreciation for where my parents grew up. But I would say that the topics that I cover in my music they don't really have to do with my culture, more so just life experiences that I think anybody can relate to. It's awesome to see, at least for my audience, it's really cool to see people growing with me. I think the first group of people that started watching me in 2006, they now have kids, they have jobs at like big companies, and they're starting the next phase of their life. And the people before that, I would say like the younger than that, it's just cool seeing everybody kind of like move with you in a way. As a musician, I would say that I've definitely grown, and I've also I've been in a place probably over the past few years where it's gotten stale too, just being a musician, and you kind of go through it just having done music for such a long time, and you just do whatever you can to be inspired. But I think now I have a whole new appreciation for music and on a deeper and more profound level. So, yeah. But YouTube isn't the only way to be discovered or maintain a music career. You can go on Spotify, there's SoundCloud, there's so many different services now. I think rather than just giving advice to Asian Americans, I think just musicians in general, is to just really, it's easy to say be yourself because it takes time to learn about who you are as a person. But I would just say, just try to be authentic, if anything. If you feel as an artist that you are confused, write about it. If you feel like you don't know what's going to happen in the future, write about that. Sing about that, because that's the most authentic. I think that's what resonates with people the most. If you're in love with someone, write a love song and share that. I think it's really about being authentic and coming from a place of truth, because nowadays people can see through BS. So, you want to be really, you almost have to be really transparent with your life in some ways as an artist these days, yeah. I get inspiration in the weirdest places, sometimes like in the shower or like when I'm on the toilet. or when I'm driving, a lot of random places, before I fall asleep. It's always different. Sometimes the lyric comes first. Sometimes I have a melody idea. Sometimes I do it both at the same time. It really, or I make a track, a musical track, and then I just write on top of that. But it's really different. I think that's the weird thing about inspiration and creativity. It comes at a weird time, and you kind of have to just like record it, like sit down and start writing or recording. Otherwise, it kind of passes, and you have to wait for it to come back. Where do I see my music and career going in the future? I don't know. I get asked that once in a while, and it's hard for me to answer because like I can't see the future. I mean, I could hate music in next year or in 2 years and never want to do it again. You never know, right? I don't think that's going to happen, but I mean, I love music. It's always been a passion of mine. There are days that I don't want to do it, but most of the time I do. So I don't have any lofty goals like winning a Grammy or, having a hit song. I think I'm very thankful that people still listen to my music and share it, and they, like improve as people by listening to it, or they hear, the stories and can relate. I think that's the biggest thing for me.